Hello friends, my name is Pratik Goyal. I am from SV Institute of Computer Studies Kadi MCA department, and today we are going to focus on several practical aspects in fundamental of programming using C language. During my discussion, I would concentrate more on frequently asked questions generally by students during lab sessions, during their practice sessions, and we would like to discuss them in a way which would help you making your practicals more easier. First of all, my basic observation during lab sessions is generally we are not following those traditional systems which are enforced by faculty members while entering lab during practice session of lab, and what we are considering is those fundamental elements which are always required to be followed by students is time consuming, and what we do is we go on shortcuts, getting problems, jumping to its solutions, and sometimes it stucks us somewhere on a critical problem. So first I would give you a short outline on exactly how you should go on. Secondly, we'll discuss on several tips which makes your work easier during your lab session practicals. And finally, most critical part, while working on computers, while programming using C language and compilers, what generally we don't understand is errors. So we'll discuss few points related to errors also. Now first most, my intention is to outline what is a good programming practice. Whenever you are planning for a programming in lab, please go through a planning. Planning matlab, you don't need to work a lot on paper, but don't even forget to work on paper. That's called plan. I'm not enforcing you to go through algorithms, pseudocodes, but as and when you get problem, first try to solve it on paper. Solving on paper helps you making your logic very clear, and logical neatness is highly required to solve any critical problem quickly and easily. So make your plan exactly how you are going to work, because during theories so many times it is explained that your programming goes this way, it should be modular, it should use this, it should use that. We know it, but while working on computers we don't practice on such theory problems and points, and that's why I'm enforcing you to make a clear plan on exactly how you are going to code during your lab session. I have seen through my students also, so many times I insist my students to work on paper before entering lab, but they are not actually following these instructions, and reason is it is what they feel is it is time consuming. No doubt it is time consuming, but it gives you logical neatness. So always try to follow first step, make a plan, and second and most important, try to run your logic on paper. I call it dry run. Without using computer, without using compiler, you write your program, you try to execute it on paper, and then to understand, and the reason of writing this is to understand exactly what your mind is thinking and actually what is happening. This is called gap between what you think and what actually happens to computer. In case we directly jump to computer and use compilers to compile our program, compilers are very programmer friendly. They give you long list of errors, and we used to solve it one by one, and program is through. But this is how you can make your program through in terms of syntaxes. When it comes on logic, logical is a very critical portion, and we have to develop us writing a neat logic, and dry run is really helping us in improving our logic. So whatever steps you have, you write in terms of syntaxes of your language. or maybe write your steps in the basis of pseudocode algorithm, and then try to execute it on paper and look at it exactly what is happening. In 50% cases, what you are thinking and what you are writing has a big gap. What you are thinking is not written, and what written is not expected. So secondly, you try to make this as your habit. You write your programs on paper, run it, and if you are true, certainly write it using your syntaxes of C, compile it and see the result. You would get 100% outcome. The third is dividing your program to make it more modular. And you all know, because theory very nicely explains what is advantage of modular programming, I'm not going to explain it, but always make your program modular, which allows you easy debug. No doubt easy programming, but more of us are engaged as programmer, and for programmer debugging is a headache, so it makes our debugging very easy. Last but not least, called documentation. As and when you write logic actually into your program, you try to add as many comments as possible. Generally, during lab sessions, it is enforced that you write comment. The first most lesson in theory explains what is comment, how to write it, but we generally don't write. Comment helps you recalling exactly for what reason these syntaxes are written. So it is really very important to write comment on every critical syntaxes at least. We are not expecting writing comments on each and every line, but writing comment helps you recalling exactly for what reason you have written. For example, branching, for example, looping. These are the points which are forgotten once you go on in your programming and reaching at the end of program, and especially when your programs are very lengthy. In case you are working on some project, you are developing your project in C language, and your program is considerably very lengthy. Exactly when you think and you write logic, you are very clear about what you are writing. But once your entire program is ready and you want some modification or debugging, it really makes you confused exactly for what purpose XYZ syntax was written. So use comments to make your thoughts very clear. And the second advantage of writing comment is, if you write something and if somebody else is trying to understand or debug, it helps them also to better understand your program. So this is just my suggestion of making your program skills more improved. This doesn't work only in C, it works in almost all the languages. And make your plan, do some paperwork, then code. As far as possible, make your programs modular and use as maximum comments as possible. Will make your programming skill better. Now we come to the discussion of C language. Generally, when variables are to be declared, what we do is we declare it, and as and when required we use it. No doubt it is not a bad practice, it is definitely good practice, but declaring variable without initialization is not good practice as far as programmers are concerned, because in case somewhere future in your programming, if you use those variables without assigning value, then it might create confusion, and especially when you are talking about C and when pointer comes into picture, definitely your pointers give you random result, and sometimes abnormal termination can also be result. So in case if you don't want this to be your practice, try to declare as many variables as possible, but those who are required. Unnecessary variables are never declared in good programming. And upon that, try to initialize them, either initialized by 0, or if it is character, initialized by null, or if it is pointer, even initialized by null, which will help you misinterpreting your values during further programming. So that is a point which are generally not used in lab, so you try to remember this. This is a good question generally asked in lab. If I write void main, or if I write main in bracket void, or if I write integer main, or if I write void then bracket, inside bracket I am not mentioning void, what is difference in all of these The first point, let us clarify. If you write main and in bracket void, or if you are not writing void, what is difference? When not only main, when you are prototyping your function or when you are defining your function, in case you don't specify void as parameter and your function does not have any parameter, then its meaning is your function may take random number of parameters. So this might create confusion during execution. But yes, if you specify function name and in bracket void, definitely you are clarifying your compiler that this function is not going to accept any parameter. Void itself clarifies no parameter. So keeping bracket as it is or writing void inside has a big difference. During programming, we generally write main and we don't write anything except our aim is to go for command line arguments. But writing your function and specifying void as a parameter has a greater value. So now onwards, to make your programs more transparent and clear, you try to specify void as and when you don't have any parameter. And the example what I have taken here is related to main, but not only main. Any function you write, if you write void, it helps function clarifying that I don't want any parameter when I am called. The next confusion is, if we write void main, what happens? Those who are working with compilers like Turbo or Borland, void main might be accepted. You write void main, you write entire program and you compile it. Your compiler gives successful result. But that doesn't mean writing void is legal or good. Officially, void must return integer, and writing integer main is the correct method. No doubt some special machines and some special situations allow writing void with main, but the default situation, syntax and rules specify that writing integer is only preferable way. In case you are writing integer and you are not returning any value out of main while returning it, then automatically integer value 0 is written. But you should not forget writing integer as a return value, and even you should not forget writing return 0 or 1 at the end of your main. It helps executing your main perfectly. So these two are general confusions generally asked in lab, and you should be very clear about what is difference between these two. The next is float and double. These are confusing data types in C language. Try to understand example given on screen. Example shows float a is equal to 2.14, and the condition what I want to check is if a is equal to 2.14. If we want, let us check it practically. I have this program ready here. In this program, I have written the same. Here I have value declared and then I have compared. In general, what we are expecting is if float a is declared 2.14 and is compared for 2.14, definitely it should give us success, because value of a is 2.14 and compared also with 2.14. Let me compile and run this program and see the output. The output shown shows failure. Reason of this is when your program shows a, definitely a has a type float, but when you compare it with 2.14, any real number by default is compared as double and not the float. And that's why we have to enforce compiler to compare this as float by adding 2.14f. So in case somewhere in your programming you are assigning value and then you are trying to compare, it gives you advert result, and we get confused. What is happening? Value itself is 2.14. I am comparing it with 2.14, but it doesn't work. Reason is this. Now 2.14 is added with f, and it indicates 2.14 should not be considered as double. It should be considered as float. And we need to check exactly what happens if this change comes. The change shows value definitely is 2.14, but this time it is actually compared as 2.14 float with a float variable, and so gives proper result. So conclusion of this slide is, whenever you write any real number as a constant in your program, then always it is referred as double, and comparing double with float might give you the result which is not expected. So better you make it very clear before writing it in your program. If you want conversion, you can convert. If you want a simple online conversion, you can go for f also, but compare with the actual data type and get the result what is expected. If this happens to your lab and what you are seeing is failure comes, it is adverse to your expectation. So try to know reason and be very specific in your programming. The next trick is, we can use a star in scanf to skip input. My intention is, I am asking user to enter his or her full name. But see this syntax given as example.